The first Question Time Leaders special here on BBC One. There is another one on BBC One Wales on Monday evening featuring Plaid Cymru, and a third one a week tomorrow which will feature Reform UK and the Green Party of England and Wales. But what about tonight? A platter of topics in the last couple of hours: the NHS, immigration, trust in leaders and tuition fees, university tuition fees in England. But for the Prime Minister, in the last half hour, questions too about the alleged conduct of some of his Conservative colleagues. Familiar music, but no panel tonight. One leader, one after another, facing a live audience for half an hour each. And first, the Prime Minister, asked about the story we've brought you on BBC News throughout the day.
Aren't these emerging allegations about betting on the election date the absolute epitome of the lack of ethics that we have had to tolerate from the Conservative Party for years and years?
Well, like you, I was incredibly angry to learn of these allegations. It's a really serious matter. It's right that they're being investigated properly by the relevant law enforcement authority.
But you're happy not to suspend them, to let them carry on and go on to the election. Obviously, they've not admitted anything. No one is saying that a decision has been taken about their guilt or their innocence. But you're happy for them to go into the election and represent you and the Conservative Party.
Well, Fiona, as you said, these investigations are ongoing. But what I can tell you is if anyone is found to have broken the rules, not only should they face the full consequences of the law, I will make sure that they are booted out of the Conservative Party.
And then his idea for young people.
National service will be compulsory. The military option will be something that people choose to do.
Oh, I see. So how will you make people do it?
Well, you'll have a set of sanctions and incentives. There's all sorts of things that people do across Europe, whether that's looking at driving licences, other access to finance, all sorts of other things. The right thing to do is to
Access to finance?
Yes.
So if people don't want to do national service, what, you're going to take their bank cards away? What do you mean?
There's access. there's lots of different models around Europe.
Next, the man who polls suggest is likely to be Prime Minister 2 weeks tomorrow, and a sticky wicket over a remark he made 5 years ago about Jeremy Corbyn.
You said he'd make a great Prime Minister. Did you mean it?
It wasn't a question that really arose because I didn't think we were going to win the election. And now
But we all heard you. We all heard you saying he would be a great Prime Minister. That was your way of telling the people here, vote for him. Did you not mean that?
I was campaigning for the Labour Party. And I'm glad I did.
But you also campaigned for Jeremy Corbyn to be Prime Minister.
Campaigning for the Labour Party. I was a Labour politician.
Let's hear the question.
The audience laughed at his repeated refusal to give a yes or no answer. Susan came next.
Given your severe criticism of the Conservatives on the topic of immigration, do you think it's acceptable at this point, so near the general election, for your own party not to commit to specific targets around this critical topic?
I'm not going to put an arbitrary figure on it because every single politician who's put a number on it has never met that number.
Next, Scotland's First Minister and Scottish National Party leader John Swinney. It's been a bumpy time for the SNP, not least the arrest of former leader Nicola Sturgeon and the arrest and charging of her husband Peter Murrell, the SNP's former chief executive, over the party's finances.
Given the recent scandals and dramas with the SNP, how will you differ from your predecessors and project competence?
I think the honest answer is that we've had a very tough time as a party in the last couple of years, and as a consequence of all of those difficulties, I'm here to lead the Scottish National Party.
The SNP say if they win a majority of Scottish seats next month, that would mean negotiations for a second independence referendum should begin. So,
if you do not get the majority of Scottish seats at Westminster, what does that tell you about your mandate to ask for another referendum?
Well, what I want to do during the election campaign is to encourage people to vote for the SNP.
Okay, so you're not answering that question.
To enable us to deliver on that policy commitment, which is right at the heart of our
manifesto. Are you going to answer that question or not?
Well, what I'm saying is that I want people to vote for the SNP.
Next up, the Liberal Democrat leader, Sir Ed Davey, and Alison in the audience wasn't messing about.
Aren't you going to bankrupt the country?
Well, thank you for your question, Alison. The answer is no, and I think our proposals are responsible, they're fully costed. I think other parties, frankly, are not putting the money in we need to rescue our public services.
The Liberal Democrats' record in coalition government still riles some. Take this about university tuition fees in England.
How can my generation trust you?
Well, listen, I understand why your generation lost faith in us. It was a difficult government to be in, and we got punished.
But politics isn't all policies, costings and accountability.
You know, my wife, I met her on a Liberal Democrat housing policy working group.
God, that sounds...
maybe
what a night out that sounds,
Mr. Romance.
Well, the latest there from York. Let's talk to Chris Mason, who is joining us now. And we saw in your report this row over the allegations of bets on the timing of the general election. It is really overshadowing the Conservatives' campaign at the moment.
It certainly has done today, and let me bring you the latest on that story now, because we have a statement tonight from the Conservative candidate Laura Saunders. She has said via her solicitors that she will be cooperating with the Gambling Commission, that's the regulator for the betting industry, and she said she is considering legal action against the BBC and any other publishers who infringe her privacy rights. Here is our story. If you bet on Labour, you can never win. So said this Conservative Party social media video yesterday afternoon, complete with jaunty music. The video has since vanished.
Hi, my name's Laura Saunders and I'm the Conservative Party candidate for Bristol North West.
She has been doing the campaigning thing all over her patch. This is one of her Facebook videos. She's also worked for the Conservative Party since 2015, including at head office in Westminster. And here is her husband, Tony Lee. He is the Conservative Party's director of campaigning. He took leave of absence from the job yesterday.
I can tell how the world will think it looks, which is not great, but, you know, I can't get into, I can't know what conversations were had with whom at what time.
I later found out both Laura Saunders and Tony Lee are being looked into by the Gambling Commission, the regulator, over alleged bets about the timing of the general election. We have approached Mr. Lee and he has not commented. A Conservative Party spokesman told the BBC, "We have been contacted by the Gambling Commission about a small number of individuals. As the Gambling Commission is an independent body, it wouldn't be proper to comment further until any process is concluded."
Did you have inside information?
The party said something similar last week when Rishi Sunak's parliamentary aide and Conservative candidate Craig Williams admitted to betting on the timing of the election.
When you made the bet?
A huge error of judgment, that's for sure, and I apologise.
The Gambling Commission has told us currently the Commission is investigating the possibility of offences concerning the date of the election. This is an ongoing investigation. We are not confirming or denying the identity of any individuals involved in this investigation. For Conservative campaign headquarters, a fortnight from polling day and miles behind in the opinion polls, this, to put it delicately, is the last thing they need. Chris Mason, BBC News.